Imagine a life where burdens feel lighter, where stress melts away, and true inner peace becomes your constant companion. This isn't a distant dream, but a reachable reality. It begins with understanding a profound truth, the power of acceptance. By embracing what is, releasing what no longer serves you, and adopting ancient wisdom, you can transform your entire world. This journey invites you to let go, find freedom, and unlock a life filled with enduring calm. Acceptance is not about giving up. It is about clearly seeing reality for what it is. It means acknowledging facts without emotional resistance. When something happens, acceptance means simply observing it, understanding its presence, and refraining from wishing it were different. This is a powerful act of clarity. It is not resignation, nor is it passive surrender to fate. Instead, it is an active choice to face the truth of a situation, person, or event. When we accept, we are not condoning something negative. We are simply recognizing its existence. This recognition allows us to then decide our next action from a place of wisdom, rather than from a place of emotional turmoil. For example, if a job loss occurs, acceptance means acknowledging the loss, the financial impact, and the shift in routine. It doesn't mean we like it, or that we won't look for new work. It simply means we stop fighting the fact that it has happened. This immediate shift in perspective saves immense energy that would otherwise be spent in denial, anger, or despair. True acceptance empowers us. It gives us a solid foundation from which to build. It helps us to see solutions more clearly because our minds are not clouded by unproductive emotional struggles. We become more agile in our thinking. We develop a quiet strength that allows us to navigate challenges with grace. This fundamental shift from wishing things were different to acknowledging them exactly as they are is the first step towards deep, lasting peace. It changes how we relate to every single event in our lives, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth. It helps us to understand that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can absolutely control how we respond. This understanding is the cornerstone of a resilient mind. It sets us free from the constant battle against reality. When we resist what is, we create our own suffering. Think of trying to hold back a rushing river. The more force you apply, the more you are pushed back, and the more exhausted you become. Life often presents challenges that are beyond our immediate control. Our natural inclination is to fight against these unwelcome realities. We might wish things were different. We might complain. We might dwell on unfairness. This resistance, however, does not change the situation. It only amplifies our internal pain. It is like holding a hot coal and expecting the other person to feel the burn. The suffering we experience is not caused by the event itself, but by our refusal to accept it. Acceptance, on the other hand, dissolves this suffering. It's like stepping out of the river rather than fighting its current. When we stop resisting, we stop expending valuable energy on a futile battle. This doesn't mean we become indifferent or that we don't feel emotions. It means we allow emotions to pass through us, rather than letting them take root and fester. The feeling of disappointment, frustration, or sadness might still arise. But instead of fighting these feelings or the situation that caused them, we acknowledge them and let them be. This act of allowing creates a space for peace. The pain of the event might remain, but the suffering, the layer of anguish we add through our resistance, begins to fade. This approach helps us to distinguish between pain, which is often inevitable, and suffering, which is often optional. We learn that while we cannot always avoid painful experiences, we can choose not to prolong our suffering by fighting against what has already happened. This practice frees up mental and emotional resources. It allows us to move from a state of internal conflict to one of quiet readiness. We are then better equipped to respond constructively, rather than react destructively. This is a profound shift that brings immense calm. Holding on to the past can feel like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. We often cling to past hurts, past mistakes, past glories, or even past versions of ourselves. This attachment prevents us from moving forward. It keeps our minds trapped in what has already happened, rather than focusing on the present moment. Letting go of the past is not about forgetting it. It is about releasing its power to control your present emotions and actions. It means learning from experiences, but not being defined by them. Think of a ship sailing into the future. If it keeps looking back at the port it left, it will struggle to navigate the open seas ahead. The past is fixed. We cannot change what has already occurred, but we can absolutely change how we relate to it. When we release attachment, we free up immense emotional and mental energy. This energy can then be directed towards building a fulfilling present and a hopeful future. This includes letting go of regrets. Regret keeps us bound by what could have been. It fuels a cycle of self-blame and sadness. Instead, we can choose to view past mistakes as valuable lessons. We learn, adapt, and grow from them. This process transforms regret into wisdom. It also means letting go of past triumphs. While it's good to acknowledge achievements, dwelling on them can prevent us from seeking new challenges or appreciating current successes. The past cannot be relived. The true joy of life is found in the now. Releasing the past empowers us to live fully in the present moment, where all life truly happens. It gives us the freedom to create new experiences, forge new paths, and embrace new beginnings. This act of letting go is an act of liberation. It allows us to step into our true potential, unburdened by yesterday's shadows. Our innate desire to control is a significant source of stress. We often try to control situations, other people, or future outcomes that are fundamentally beyond our reach. This creates a constant sense of frustration and anxiety. The weather, the economy, the opinions of others, unexpected events, these are all examples of things we cannot truly control. Yet, we spend vast amounts of energy worrying about them, trying to manipulate them, or wishing they were different. This futile effort leads to immense suffering. True peace comes from recognizing the limits of our influence. We learn to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. What can we control? Our thoughts, our attitudes, our actions, our reactions, our efforts, and our choices. That is truly all. When we focus our energy exclusively on these controllable aspects, we reclaim our power. We stop wasting time and mental energy on the uncontrollable. For example, you cannot control if traffic makes you late, but you can control your reaction to it. You can choose frustration, or you can choose patience and use the time for reflection. This shift in focus is incredibly liberating. It means surrendering the illusion of complete control over external events. It means accepting that life will always present variables we cannot predict or manage. When we release the need to control the uncontrollable, we experience a profound sense of calm. Our minds are no longer caught in a frantic struggle against reality. We become more adaptable. We develop greater resilience. We learn to flow with life's currents rather than rigidly fighting against them. This understanding is a cornerstone of inner peace. It allows us to invest our energy wisely, directing it towards where it can actually make a difference, which is always within ourselves. It is a powerful lesson in finding freedom by accepting our human limitations. True peace does not come from a world without flaws. It comes from embracing imperfections. We often strive for an ideal state, whether in ourselves, in others, or in life circumstances. When reality inevitably falls short of these perfect visions, we experience disappointment, frustration, and dissatisfaction. This endless pursuit of perfection is a trap. It prevents us from appreciating the beauty and value in what already is. Embracing imperfections means accepting that nothing is truly perfect. People will make mistakes, including ourselves. Situations will have drawbacks. Outcomes will rarely be exactly as we imagined. When we learn to accept these realities, we stop fighting against them. We allow things to be as they are, recognizing that flawlessness is an illusion. This applies profoundly to ourselves. Many of us are our own harshest critics, constantly judging our perceived flaws. But true self-acceptance means embracing all parts of ourselves, even the parts we deem imperfect. It means understanding that our quirks, our mistakes, and our areas for growth are all part of our unique human experience. When we accept our own imperfections, we become more compassionate towards ourselves. This compassion then extends outward, allowing us to accept the imperfections of others more readily. We realize that everyone is on their own journey, doing their best with what they have. This shift in perspective reduces judgment, both of ourselves and of others. It replaces frustration with understanding. It replaces striving with contentment. This is not about settling for less. It is about finding peace in the present reality. It allows us to find beauty in the imperfect, joy in the flawed, and connection in shared humanity. Embracing imperfections is a radical act of love for life as it is, leading to a deep and quiet sense of peace. Rigid expectations are often the hidden architects of our disappointment. We build elaborate mental blueprints of how life, people, or events should unfold. When reality deviates from these precise plans, we feel a sharp pang of letdown, frustration, or even anger. This suffering is not caused by the event itself, but by the gap between our expectation and what actually happened. To reduce disappointment, we must learn to detach from these rigid expectations. Instead of demanding that things happen a certain way, we can cultivate preferences. A preference is a gentle desire. An expectation is a firm demand. If our preference isn't met, it's a minor setback. If our expectation is shattered, it's a major emotional blow. Life is inherently unpredictable. It rarely follows our scripts. People are autonomous beings, and their actions are not dictated by our wishes. Outcomes are influenced by countless variables beyond our control. When we hold expectations loosely, we become more adaptable. We are less likely to be derailed by unforeseen circumstances. We learn to greet whatever comes with a sense of curiosity rather than judgment. This doesn't mean we stop planning or striving for goals. It means we hold our plans lightly, with an open hand, ready to adjust when circumstances change. For example, if you plan a perfect outdoor picnic, but it rains, a rigid expectation leads to despair. Detaching from the expectation allows you to pivot, perhaps enjoying an indoor game night instead, finding joy in the alternative. This practice trains our minds to be flexible. It teaches us that happiness is not about life conforming to our will, but about our ability to find contentment within whatever reality presents. It frees us from the constant battle against what is. By releasing the grip of rigid expectations, we unlock a greater capacity for joy and serenity in the face of life's constant flux. We become more resilient. We protect ourselves from unnecessary emotional pain. Letting go is not an ending. It is a profound beginning. When we release what no longer serves us, old habits, outdated beliefs, past grievances, or even possessions, we create empty space. This space is not a void. It is an invitation. It is an opening for new opportunities, new experiences, and new growth to emerge. Imagine a cluttered room. Until you clear out the old, dusty items, there is no room for fresh furniture, new decorations, or a new layout. Our minds and lives work similarly. If we cling tightly to past hurts, there is no emotional space for forgiveness or new connections. If we are obsessed with past failures, there is no mental capacity to envision new successes. This principle applies across all aspects of life. Releasing attachment to a specific career path that isn't working opens the door to discovering a more fulfilling profession. Letting go of a toxic relationship creates space for healthier, more supportive connections. Ditching old limiting beliefs about ourselves allows us to step into our true potential and explore abilities we never knew we had. This act of letting go is an act of trust in the universe. It is a belief that by releasing what is stagnant, we invite what is vibrant and expansive. It is a deliberate choice to move forward, unburdened by the past. The opportunities that emerge might not be what we initially expected. They might be different, perhaps even better, than anything we could have planned. This process encourages spontaneity and openness. It teaches us that growth often requires shedding the old to make way for the new. By actively creating space, we become magnets for positive change, allowing fresh energy and new possibilities to flow freely into our lives. It is a powerful act of renewal that transforms our journey. Cultivating inner peace deeply depends on accepting what you cannot change. This is a core wisdom teaching found in Stoicism and many other philosophies. There are countless things in life that are simply beyond our control. The past, the choices of other people, natural disasters, illnesses, the fundamental laws of physics. Our human tendency is often to rail against these unchangeable realities. We complain, we worry, we wish things were different. This internal struggle, however, only generates immense distress and achieves absolutely nothing. It drains our energy and steals our joy. The path to inner peace lies in recognizing these immutable facts and choosing not to fight them. This doesn't mean we become passive or indifferent. It means we channel our energy wisely. We focus our efforts and attention on the things we can influence: our thoughts, our attitudes, our actions, and our responses to external events. When we stop trying to manipulate what is beyond our power, we free up a tremendous amount of mental and emotional space. This liberated energy can then be directed towards constructive action, personal growth, and self-improvement. For example, if a loved one makes a choice you disagree with, you cannot change their decision. But you can choose your reaction. You can choose acceptance and understanding rather than anger and resentment. This choice brings calm. This practice of acceptance brings a profound sense of tranquility. It allows us to let go of the need for the world to conform to our desires. It brings a deep sense of calm, knowing that we are not fighting against the current of reality. This is true power, the power to choose peace within, regardless of external circumstances. It is a continuous practice that builds resilience and unwavering inner calm. Forgiving past hurts is a profound act of self-empowerment. It is not about condoning the actions of someone who wronged you. It is not about forgetting what happened. Instead, forgiveness is about releasing yourself from the emotional prison of resentment, anger, and bitterness. When we hold on to past hurts, we are the ones who suffer most. The person who wronged us may not even be aware of our pain, or they may have moved on. But we remain trapped, replaying the scenario, allowing the past to continue to inflict pain in the present. This emotional baggage drains our energy, clouds our judgment, and prevents us from fully embracing our lives today. Forgiveness is a conscious choice to let go of that heavy burden. It is a decision to prioritize your own peace and well-being over holding on to anger. It means recognizing that holding on to resentment harms you, not the other person. This process takes courage and often time. It involves acknowledging the pain, allowing yourself to feel it, and then making a deliberate choice to release it. It is an act of compassion for yourself. When you forgive, you break the chains that bind you to the past. You reclaim your emotional energy. You free your mind to focus on positive pursuits and healthy relationships in the present. This applies not only to forgiving others, but also to forgiving yourself for past mistakes or perceived failures. Self-forgiveness is equally vital for moving forward. It allows you to learn from your past without being paralyzed by guilt or shame. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It empowers your present self by liberating you from the grip of yesterday's pain, paving the way for a future filled with peace, light, and renewed possibilities. The daily practice of acceptance profoundly transforms your life. This is not a one-time decision or a magical cure. It is a consistent, conscious effort to apply these principles in your everyday moments. Each morning, we can set an intention to practice acceptance. Throughout the day, as challenges arise, a frustrating commute, an unexpected bill, a difficult conversation, we can pause. In that pause, we can choose acceptance over resistance. We can ask ourselves, what is the reality here? What can I control, and what can I not? Can I let go of the need for things to be different? This regular introspection strengthens our mental muscles. It builds resilience. Over time, these small, consistent acts of acceptance accumulate. They begin to shift our default way of thinking. Instead of automatically reacting with frustration or despair, we start to respond with calm and clarity. We become less easily rattled by external events. Our inner landscape becomes more peaceful and steady. The noise of our anxious thoughts begins to quiet. We find ourselves living more in the present moment, appreciating what is, rather than perpetually chasing what isn't. Our relationships improve because we become more accepting of others. Our stress levels decrease dramatically. We sleep better. We find more joy in simple things. This consistent effort turns acceptance from a concept into a lived reality. It doesn't mean life becomes perfect or free of challenges. It means we become better equipped to navigate life's inevitable ups and downs with grace, strength, and an unwavering sense of inner peace. It is the continuous application of wisdom that leads to deep, lasting, and truly transformative change in every facet of your being.